And welcome back. I'm certainly having some laughs on the break with Mr. Busque. I really wanted to go into another topic, but I really love the question that you just asked me. Do I think young people are ready for
to vote and to have their own party?
Why do we have to go as far as have their own party? Since a small country.
Okay, our young people, because they, why I ask is because they're not going to vote.
What do I?
They're not voting.
But I feel we can infiltrate what we already have. Why not put young people in the two parties? Why not have, whether it's opposition?
You see why I told you I like the Jenna Cornell and Matthew thing?
I like it.
Yeah, because it invites Labourite young people to say, hey, young people in the UWP looking to take over the UWP, let's look to take over the SLP. Now, they're not going to take over in one go.
Our government has some young ministers.
Yes. It depends on what you describe as young.
I wouldn't say they're not young in age, but
okay. Oh, young in thinking.
I would say young
in mind.
Some young in thinking. I look at Lon and Sean as one of those with
the Prime Minister lives on Facebook.
Thank you.
Okay.
You know, we have Jadia who's always on. She's on Instagram, and you know, she that's how she
now.
Exactly. Do you know how many stories I've gotten to
happening now?
Yeah. So you know, it just shows, you know, but I think we need more.
Yeah, I think we need more, and I think
they're a little more active.
And I'm not afraid of saying this because I know I'm right. I think that, and I've said it before, the political operators, the generation of political operators today is not necessarily praying for young people to discover the value of their vote, because it would mean that out of every household where we can count on mother and father or grandmother and grandfather voting, it would mean that we would probably have to be catering for 6 or 7 children and grandchildren who we don't know where they're going to vote.
But I think it's because they don't think we know what we're about. They have no faith. They have no faith in us.
Because you're not talking.
But have you sat
You're not quarreling.
Okay, but
young
have you sat and had a conversation with us?
I do know the existence of a St. Lucia Labour Party youth organization.
Really?
I know the existence of a UWP youth arm. They exist in name, and therefore I'm saying that these names have not been erased. I have a fundamental problem, like I said, and I've said, you know, in the right places, that I do not believe, on the one hand, where we are saying we want young people involved and we are building the future for the youth, I do not think that we are prepared to invite the youth to help to build that future for them.
I don't think
you
so
got me?
I
think we want to build a future for the youth, but we don't want you to have any role in that.
If I have to take you back to where we originally started, which is fuel prices, I don't think I think the young people drive those roads much more than the older people. And so if it's anybody's purse who's feeling this 3 weeks mechanism versus the 3 months,
every
it's
3
us.
weeks. It's every 3 weeks, yeah. And I would like to believe that would have to be revisited. I heard a statement during the week bemoaning what you've been saying, the fact that nobody is complaining about the fact that we're stuck in a jam.
We are.
The fact is, we all know we're stuck in the jam. And my plea here again is for young people to recognize that the youth vote can decide the result of elections. And I'll say that today, that the young people of St. Lucia have not recognized the value of registering, the value of a vote. And I think it is from the standpoint that your generation has been failed for such a long period by our generation, in terms of we saying we're getting things ready for young people, and these young people come join us, become adults, preparing to get ready for the future for the young people, but even them not seeing how
well, let's
it can be
accept
done.
that we sat down and we trusted the heads, and we trusted them when they say we're preparing for you. But now I think it comes a point in time when somebody keeps haggling you on, that eventually you need to say, you know what, let me prepare for myself.
You know what I would like to see? A group of young persons, and I'm putting up my hand ready, a group of young persons who will say, listen, we want to attract the young people. Forget about which party your parents belong to. Let us come and have a political discussion.
Does that really matter anymore, which party your parents belong to?
Yes, it does. Because
where? In the rural communities?
I would like to believe that your parents can suggest to you how you can see the politics. I'm not saying that it convince you. You mean they wouldn't dare suggest to you?
No, they will speak to you. They will try to influence you. But I feel this generation have a mind of their own, and they will go when it comes to going inside there. Yes, mommy told me that, but here what? That's what I'm feeling. This is where I go in.
I would beg to agree to disagree on that one, because I can also tell you that there are still so many young people who believe their parents when they say, you're voting for my party or you're not staying at my home.
Come on.
No, it exists. I said in a political meeting that on election morning, I still operate like that. On election morning, I'm picking up everybody at my home and we're going and voting.
But you cannot control
what they do
when
they go inside.
And I
will not care how I would wish you vote for my party, but all I want you to do is to exercise that vote.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to make it possible by taking you there. I'm not in there with you.
Right.
I well suspect
but
maybe my chain must be even voting. Let's say Daddy waking me up 6 o'clock to go to this blasted thing.
But I'm saying
I will carry them.
You can carry them, but you cannot control who they vote for. They have a mind.
I don't want to. Because, when you go inside there, it is your right. It is your individual right as an individual who has qualified. So you're a voter. You're not a daughter or a son. You're a voter. But the system up to today allows parents to say to sons and daughters, I want you to vote this way. All the smart sons and daughters would say, yes, but go inside there and vote in the way that you want to. Many don't. Many don't. And I think that what we have to do, the meeting, the session, or whatever I'm talking about, is a process that would bring young people together and hear from both parties.
I think if young people understood how voting can affect them, for instance, if let's just bring it down to young people. Average day scenario. We have $100. We have 2 parties we want to go to. We have to buy drinks and we have to pay gas. If the young people knew that by voting there or having a voice and saying
it would influence the price
it would
you
have
pay.
Influenced the price they pay on their pocket. Believe me, they will step up, because at the end of the day, it's more money in their pocket for them to go and party.
We're reading from the same page, because there's generational difference. But that's what I'm saying. You're asking me whether they know. I'm telling you they don't. Because we all would like to exercise the powers in our hands. We exercise them as parents. We exercise them as employers. We exercise them as workers who have power over a process. Power is something that we like to use. Many like to exploit, but power is to be used. And I think that if and when young people recognize the power of the vote, the value of spending an hour on the line, because young people tell this is that line thing too long. The value of spending 1 hour on the line over the next 5 years, and that's the kind of discussion I want to have with young people, because I don't care whether it is young UWPs or young SLPs. When they take over, I will be in a rocking chair or buried at sea.
The approach needs to be different. it's all about the approach, because if you come on your platform like you've done for donkey years and you do the same sort of
and say, I want to take care of you,
it's not going to work. If you break it down like how I just broke it down and showed them how having a say in fuel prices can affect their pocket, that is a different approach.
well,
the
what I
approach
can tell you
needs
is
to
that
be different.
I know somebody who I could ask to help me in that task. I won't tell you who, but after the show, yeah, I know, because it is the kind of thing that needs to be done, and it will not be done by gray-headed people like me trying to say to young people, I'm interested in your future. I think it has to come from within those young people like yourself who are, and they are, they are, but you and all of them are only keeping it to yourself.
On the block have constructive conversations. They might have it in their own dialect.
Yeah, but you need to
you
need to elevate it to more than a conversation. Take that conversation into action. Believe me, the difference you would see in the attitude of the existing politicians to young people would be fundamental. Because it would mean, I know that because we can do the maths. You know, how many registered voters and how many vote? How many registered young voters? The NYC was recently for independence. The lecture, independence debate was on reducing the voting age from 18 to 16.
But even the NYC and all, for me, needs to do more.
Much more. The world has changed. It's not just the millennium. You know,
because they have
climate change.
They have the people that are interested. I need to go and get the people that are not interested.
I keep saying climate change is not only about environment. The whole world climate has changed. Politics, economics, everything has changed. But we haven't made that adjustment, and until the luxury that we're looking for, which is young people recognizing the value of their vote. But don't think it's only St. Lucia, you know. Until Barack Obama, young Americans never realized their vote. And what he was able to do was introduce that knowledge through IT. And more young people got into politics during the campaign for Obama on the basis of the use of IT.
But that is the way forward. But, you know, just going back to our initial conversation, which was on fuel prices, I need to say that for those who went out, for those who were on the roads marching, for this 3-week mechanism, look at where we are today. All I'm asking is that now that people are complaining, now that people are saying, come out and give them an explanation as to why it is going on. Don't leave it up to the government to explain. Or I didn't say don't leave it up. It is the government's duty to do that. But still, you were very much instrumental in the in influencing the change. Be very much instrumental in explaining what we are going through right now.
The effect of the change that you advocated.
Take your responsibility and do that. Because do not just lead people and leave them there.
If that is how young people assess the politics, I have confidence in the future.
That is, well, I can only speak for myself, and I can speak for
I think you're speaking for the people, the young persons you were mentioning earlier who are having the conversations on the blocks in their own language.
How we speak.
I get to speak to young people, and they say, Mr. Buske, like most guys come to me saying, guys and girls, help me get a job. So what job do you want? Oh, I sent 100 applications and I haven't received even the courtesy of a reply. And I would say, okay, help me get a job. I say, well, what job do you want to do? Any job, anything. I say, there's no job called anything. But if you can identify a job somewhere, come to me and maybe I could call somebody. But what skill do you have? And then I was in a barber's shop, I've said so before. I was in a barber's shop and there were 5 young guys around who were complaining about not getting jobs. But they were waiting for one young guy from the Marigot Secondary School to come fix their phones. He's finishing school at 3, he's going to take the bus. They have estimated how much time he's going. Each of them had a little plastic bag. And this little fella is coming and one had a BlackBerry Curve and a BlackBerry Bold, and the guy was going to make one out of it. One other guy said he couldn't get Messenger, how do you call it?
BlackBerry Messenger.
No, the other one.
WhatsApp.
WhatsApp. He couldn't get WhatsApp, so the guy was rearranging his phone for him to get WhatsApp, but they were all unemployed. And I said, can you make an app? Hey, bossman, that easy? I said, have you ever thought of creating an app to solve a problem? He said, what problem? You just have to tell me, I'll get it. I said, how about an app for elections? And say, bossman, that easy? I said, how that easy? You just give everybody a phone, and you give them a code, and at 12 o'clock, everybody have to vote at 12 o'clock on that code. And that's the part I like. You say, and before 10 minutes, you know whether you still working, whether Ken is still in charge. But I have seen that on BBC. Yeah, I've seen it on BBC. You have these debates, and they say, okay, press the button. And even at the UN, the thing comes there. But here was a young fellow who was unemployed, was telling me how we could save money by voting.
Before we take the break, I'll just say it's probably because they don't know how to recognize their own skills. And that's one of the
and
problems
that's what we have to start helping to do.
When we come back, there's more Press Club. We have to go to a break.